Welcome back to the channel today, guys. Now, this is what I've been waiting for. When we finally get to the island and you guys see what this show is really gonna be like. I have one question for all of you now. Were you surprised? Were you surprised by just how much of a left turn we took already in our show? Don't worry. There'll be plenty more. I already see one scene in particular really making people surprised. And we'll talk about it when we get to it. But man, Hell's Paradise has truly been a joy this season. I'm having such a great time reviewing it for you guys. And I hope you guys are liking it too. But enough of that. Let's get straight into the episode. And let's talk about it today. Because shit hits the fan. And it hits the fan quick. So our episode today begins not on the island, but in Gabimaru's village in Ikuakara, as we see the chief of the village putting on a little demonstration for everyone. This man is getting stabbed, impaled, deboweled, yet he stands still, as we hear, even after being pierced by blades and spilling his guts on the ground. He remains standing in place with the biggest shit-eating grin I've seen in a long time. As Gabimaru says, the chief of Ikuakara truly was immortal. Apparently, it was due to a medicine he acquired long ago on a land across the sea. And, sounds familiar, guys, doesn't it? Crazy. And as we transition to Sagiri and Gabimaru landing on the island, he says, judging by your expression, it seems like you didn't think it actually existed. As he tells her, it's real, all right. The elixir of life. The Tokijiko no Kagunomi. I think I said that actually pretty well for once, guys. And real quick, I want to mention that this is something I can see people being surprised about immediately. Because I saw so much discourse from people saying, oh, the elixir of life's not even real. They're going to go to this island and they're not going to find anything. It's real, alright, guys. Just wait and see. That's all I'll tell you. And it's here we transition to Gabimaru and Sagiri exploring this island, you know. Despite all the terrible things we've seen, it seems like a beautiful, beautiful place, right? As Sagiri even says, this place certainly makes one believe the elixir of life might be found here. But it's here that Gabimaru has to kind of ground her a little bit as he looks at her and says, don't you think this place is creepy as hell? As he says, there's no rhyme or reason to the species and natural habitats on the plants growing here. It's extremely unnatural, and there's no telling what might be out there. We need to be careful. As we see this man just casually break his bonds like it's nothing, because it is nothing. As she tells him, hey, don't break your bonds. That's against the rules. And he just looks at her like, you expect me to do this with my hands tied? That's actually ridiculous, which it is. As he tells her, come on, can't you let this slide? In fact, this isn't the only ridiculous thing about this expedition. We're doing a bunch of dumb stuff, extra stuff. We've only even been given food and water for 3 days. And our only clue is this drawing. Are they actually trying to find the elixir here? It doesn't seem like it. But it's here Sagiri draws his sword and places it to his neck. She tells him very clearly how their relationship is. As she tells him, I am an executioner. I'm not your ally here. It's not my problem if you fail to find the elixir and receive a pardon. If you refuse to bind your hands, then I'll simply take your head off. You guys got to understand that. They might be pretty similar, actually. But I wouldn't call them friends or allies right here. Right now, they're mere acquaintances at best. As Gabimaru does decide to put his binds back on. But it's in this moment, all of a sudden, he gets blindsided and sent flying. As we see that it was one of the criminals that did it. As the criminal says, I can't believe he let his guard down under these circumstances. What a fool. But it's in this moment we just see Gabimaru pop back up, and he says, "Oh, you surprised me there, man. Damn, you gave my neck a real good crack." Oh, I was real stiff from that long boat ride, man. Thanks for that. But enough with the jokes. It's time to assess our situation. As Sagiri says, that's Twisted Kaowin, one of the condemned criminals. He's a warrior monk who fell in love with weapons during his training. They say this nasty motherfucker stolen over 100 weapons from other warriors. But upon hearing this, Gabimaru tells her, no, that's not what I'm talking about. Look, his hands aren't bound. What's up with that? And as Sagiri looks closer, they're not. And she tries to backpedal a bit. Like, that's not what matters right now. I mean, it does matter, but shut up. As Sagiri asks, why aren't his hands bound, Kisho Dono? And it's here Sagiri gets hit with a bit of realism, as she's told, you're as rigid as ever, Sagiri. We can tie their hands back on the way back. I can't be bothered to argue with this scum over that. What a waste of time that would be. As Gabimaru just looks at her and says, see, he's speaking facts here. But the man continues and says something interesting, actually, that I want you guys to take note as he says, you're still the lowest ranked because you're honest to a fault. As he tells Gabimaru, all the Asamon are ranked, with Sagiri being the lowest ranked one here. But it's here he gets interrupted by Kaowin, who says, don't forget about me, Gabimaru the Hollow. I can test my weapons on you to my heart's content. Your body shall experience their beauty firsthand. As Gabimaru just tells him, you're some kind of pervert, aren't you? You got something wrong with your head up there, I can tell. As he adds, if we waste time fighting here, the others will get a head start on us for the elixir. As Kaowin tells him, that's exactly why I'm doing this, though. As he says, it would be wise to kill the other criminals first, and then take my time searching for the elixir. As Kisho adds, we're just here to watch you. You criminals, feel free to kill each other if you'd like. You make our job easier. But as we all know, Gabimaru doesn't really want to do that. As he even says, I don't want to kill you because my wife wouldn't like that. But then says, I guess I have no choice though. I guess I will kill you. And as Kaowin charges at him, Sagiri literally taps this man's shoulder and says, yeah, by the way, we're not done here. Bind your hands again. That wasn't a joke. And as we see Kaowin just laying into Gabimaru with all his weapons, we see this man was just tying his hands the whole time. Like, all right, you can start now. You can start hitting me now. We can start our fight. But then says, I don't really have the time for this. Let's make this quick. As he actually uses his own spear and the leverage of it and sends him flying into the air. And as all of Kaowin's weapons are falling down towards Gabimaru, he kicks a spear with his foot into Kaowin's gut, piercing him. As he says, whew, it's real hard to fight with my hands tied, guys. But as this man gets back up, we see he's still ready for a fight. And you think we're going to throw some hands, right, guys? Well, you'd be completely dead wrong, because Gabimaru just absolutely eviscerates him. It's not even close. As he even says, that was a waste of time. And it's here as we see Kisho cut off Erwin'S head and try to leave. Gabimaru just looks at him like, so we don't need to fight now? As Kisho tells him, I told you, we're neither your enemies or your allies here. If the criminal we're responsible for dies, we simply take his head back. That's it. But as Sagiri tells him, 60 people went missing on this island. Be careful on your way back. He just looks at her like, are you being serious right now? As he says, can you afford to worry about anyone else right now? You're naive if you think you're safe just because his hands are tied. Actual facts he's spitting, by the way. The man standing next to you is a criminal. And it's here in this moment, he's going to clue Sagiri in and the audience to what's really going to happen on this island. As he says, mere moments after we headed to shore, I'd already seen so much. Those who sought to reduce their competition before we even landed. Those who plotted to work together. And those who pretended to. They never followed society's rules in the first place. They don't care about duties or rules. They'll attempt to survive by whatever methods suit them. As he adds, to a samurai, the shogun's rules are absolute. But what really matters is our priorities. Priority number 1 is the elixir of life. Everything else comes second to that. As he adds, besides, rules are illusions that don't function unless you believe everyone will follow them. That's a literal fact he's spitting right here, guys. For some, they simply never apply. Like him over there. Shall I cut him down for you now? As Gabimaru, like a literal G, grabs the hilt of his sword and says, let's not waste time on pointless jokes here. You can't beat me. As he says, I just want to get back to my wife. I don't care about anything else. And Kisho is shook. But it's here before he leaves. He says one last important thing. As he says, allow me to make a prediction. Our situation will change again in just a few hours. And it's here as we see Aizen interacting with his criminal, Rokuroto, he immediately senses that something's not right. As they both charge at each other. And we see his sword shatter. And as the smoke clears, we see blood everywhere. Rokuroto's eating something. And we see that Aizen's entire top half of his body is gone. I know people are going to be surprised about this one. I saw so many people saying, oh man, Aizen, he's going to be such a big player later down the line, right? Right? Nope. As Kisho continues and says, in just a mere few hours, there will be a seemingly unpredictable turn. More than half the criminals will die. And within a few moments more, so will the other half. As we just see Asa smash in the monk's head. And we see the cannibal courtesan had her throat slit. In less than a day, there will be only one left. You're all expendable. If your numbers dwindle, then more will just be added. As he tells Gabimaru in particular, Hattori's messenger has already traveled to Ishu. The shogunate undoubtedly made contact with the new Iwagakari, meaning that the shinobi from his village are coming to the island. And we see that Gabimaru realizes that wholeheartedly. But then he also says the Asamon aren't a monolith either, Sagiri. Meaning that we're not all powerful. Rumor has it this job will determine the next head of the clan. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's enough to inspire ambition in some. And backstabbery. And as he leaves, he tells her, don't let your guard down around these criminals. You could die. And it's here, as she truly thinks about what he just said, she thinks to herself, you know, even though we've been traveling together for several days, I still don't understand this man's, Gabimaru's, true character. And it's here in this moment, all of a sudden, Gabimaru charges at Sagiri and tries to kill her. As he says, man, I was hoping to kill you painlessly. As she thinks to herself, I knew it. This man's true nature is evil. And it's in this next scene that we're really going to start breaking down Gabimaru even more. And we're going to find out why it is he's the way he is. As we take a flashback to the night his parents was killed, as we hear, they asked to leave the village the moment they had a child. And they're supposed to be Jonin. Pathetic. As the chief says, I shall raise this child. And then adds, look closely, Gabimaru. This is weakness. Emotions, even love between a parent and child, make you weak. Unless you're strong, you can't protect anything, let alone everything precious to you. And it's here we see that even at the youngest of ages, that this horrible mindset was installed into him basically from birth, of kill or be killed. And as we transition back to Sagiri and Gabimaru fighting again, they're really going at it. He's serious about killing her. As Gabimaru says, remember what your clansman just said? It's all about our priorities here. If the Iwagakari arrive on the island, everything will go up in smoke. I have to find the elixir of life before then. Because even Gabimaru cannot fight his entire village on his own. As he tells her, I have no hatred for you, but you're a hindrance. As she says, so you're gonna kill me? And he tells her, sometimes there's no other choice. And as they continue fighting, Sagiri thinks to herself that I knew this man was dangerous. His thinking and morality are extreme and abnormal. He should be executed immediately. But for some reason, I'm hesitant. I just can't do it. And it's here as we transition to Gabimaru's thoughts. We see that they're the same. As he says, I should have been able to kill her just now. So why am I hesitating? Why? And it's here we realize that they both really don't want to kill each other, because here's the thing. These two, whether they realize it or not, are really kindred spirits. They are extremely similar, actually. And they both feel that. They know there's something different about each other. And they both just can't bring themselves to kill each other. And as we transition to a flashback scene of Gabimaru and his wife, we see that her influence on him still runs and holds very deep in his heart. As she tells him, if you have emotions, you should listen to them. You're not your old self anymore. True courage is being true to your own emotions. As Gabimaru says, I experienced emotions for the first time after meeting my wife. But among these emotions was hatred as well. And along with that came weakness. And as we transition back to their fight, Gabimaru has the chance to end this here, right now, against Sagiri. But he hesitates yet again. As he tells himself, this is my weakness. At this rate, I won't be pardoned, much less survive on this island. As we can see, he's fighting hard to eliminate his emotions right now. But they're kind of strangling him in this moment. And as we transition to Sagiri's perspective, she says, he's a violent, condemned criminal. On top of that, he's trying to kill me. But as we see that they both don't want this. And as Gabimaru remembers the words of his chief, we see that he's able to kill his emotions temporarily and shatter Sagiri's sword. And right when you think he's going to get the killing blow, she's able to block it with the hilt of the sword, with the sheath. It's honestly pretty cool and very quick thinking. As Gabimaru says, stop resisting. You know it's pointless. You can't beat me with that. I don't care about the other criminals, but killing you will hurt me. As she tells him, "It'll hurt you, huh? So you still have those kind of emotions left after all." And she really hits him where it hurts, saying that. And as we transition to the next scene, we see that he's fully gotten the best of her here. As he tries to tell himself, "I don't have emotions. I am Gabimaru, the Hollow. I've killed so many people, I've grown tired of it. Killing one more person doesn't make me feel anything. Unless you're strong, you can't protect anything." As we see the chief's influence is still all over him. But it's here, right before he's about to kill her. He hesitates again, as we see the influence of his wife creep in and get rid of the chief's influence. As Gabimaru says, "Damn it! Why do I hesitate? I shouldn't feel anything." And it's here in this moment, upon looking at him, Sagiri realizes that in all of these moments we've seen Gabimaru, he's worn the same expression he's wearing right now. It's as though he's trying to endure something, enduring the pain of taking a life, of killing, of making people suffer. As she realizes that the environment he was raised in put the wrong idea in his head. They brainwashed him from birth. You are not a hollow man that feels nothing. He's actually a human being with emotions that he's constantly fighting off. As she says, "And watching him allowed me to face my own emotions." And it's here as Gabimaru continues to hesitate. He says, "Is this how weak I've become? If I'm this weak, I'll never see my wife again." But it's here Sagiri tells him to his face, "That's not weakness. It's the seed of strength. Feeling nothing is the same as averting your gaze. I believe not fleeing from your emotions is real strength." And it's here for the first time they have a true heart-to-heart, as she says, "If you regret your own crimes, face your emotions, and struggle to reclaim your life, then I wish to see that through until the end. Show me if someone like you can reclaim his life." As she says, "Our relationship hasn't changed, but you're not your old self anymore." Echoing the same words that his wife told him. And whether he realizes it or not right now, Gabimaru is deeply touched by these words. And it's here for the first time between these two, they come to somewhat of an understanding of each other. It's quite a beautiful scene, honestly. Mappa did a great job with this scene, guys. But it's here in this moment, we have to kind of come back to reality, as we have to remember, we're in hell. Because it's here as we see one of the criminals walking around with their Asamon. Suddenly, he gets stung on his hand, and upon closer inspection of the insect, it has a human face. And immediately upon realizing this, he cuts his own hand off. As we see within seconds, it turns into a plant. And it's in this moment we see the true facade of this island fade away as these hideous monstrosities start coming out the woodwork. And we haven't even scratched the surface of the heinous shit we're gonna see on this island. And as we transition back to Gabimaru and Sagiri, we see that they're surrounded by these monstrosities as well as our episode ends. And man, guys, Mappa is killing this adaptation so far. They've done such a great job. And I have to ask, now that we went through the episode, were you guys surprised? Were you surprised by so many people dying immediately upon getting to the island? We're going to see some pretty crazy shit throughout the course of our show, guys. And you just got a little taste of it right here. And you also need to remember that the shinobi from Gabimaru's village are heading to the island as well. We quite literally haven't seen anything yet. This show is only going to get better as time progresses, guys, so I hope you're prepared for that. And just what a great episode. Just breaking down Gabimaru even more. Showcasing that even though he loves his wife and doesn't want to kill people, the influence of his village and the chief still hang heavy on him. And he fights his emotions constantly, trying to suppress them to be Gabimaru the Hollow. As Sagiri showcases to him in this episode that you don't need that. Your emotions can be your strength. Quite a great episode, quite a great message, and I'm so excited for the next one. We're going to get into it soon, guys. So let me know your thoughts on the episode down below. But until next time, guys, I hope you have a great day, week, month, and year. And until then, deuces, have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys next time. Deuces.